We spend our lives chasing wisdom in books, teachers, and complex ideas. But what if the truth has been with us all along, quietly waiting in the simplest moments of life? This story might just remind you of something you've always known, but forgotten. High in the misty mountains of the east, where clouds drift like silent thoughts and the sound of temple bells echoed through the valleys, there lived an old master known simply as Li Shen. For over 50 years, Li Shen had taught seekers who traveled from distant lands, monks, warriors, scholars, and wanderers, all coming to learn the art of awareness and inner stillness. His school was not grand. It was a modest wooden temple surrounded by bamboo, where wind and silence were his only companions. There were no textbooks, no complex rituals, only questions, silence, and the long rhythm of daily practice. As the years passed, Li Shen grew old. His hair turned the color of snow, his steps slowed, and the fire in his eyes softened to a gentle glow. Word spread that the master's final days were near. One by one, his students returned to the mountain to see him, to hear his last words, his final wisdom. On his last morning, the temple courtyard filled with disciples. The sun had just begun to rise, painting the mist in gold and silver. The air was heavy with emotion. Among the crowd was a young man named June, one of the master's most devoted students. He had studied under Li Shen for nearly 10 years, practicing meditation, discipline, and the art of mindful living. Yet June still felt incomplete. There were questions that burned in his heart, questions about purpose, wisdom, and the meaning of life itself. When the ceremony ended, June approached his master, who sat beneath an old plum tree whose blossoms were slowly falling like pale snow. "Master," June said softly, bowing deeply, "I have only one question left to ask you before you go. What is the most important lesson you have ever taught?" The old man's eyes sparkled with quiet amusement. A long silence followed. Then Li Shen smiled and said, "My dear June, I teach nothing of importance." June looked puzzled. "Nothing of importance? But, Master, you have trained thousands of students. You have shared wisdom that changed lives. How can you say that you teach nothing of importance?" Li Shen chuckled gently, his voice calm and slow, like the wind brushing over leaves. "Because the most valuable wisdom cannot be taught. It must be lived into. You can only discover it through long attention to life itself." John frowned, trying to understand. "Then why do students come to you, Master?" The old man looked toward the horizon, where the rising sun met the clouds. "They come," he said, "because they have forgotten how to pay attention. In a world filled with distraction, noise, and endless chasing, I remind them to stop, to look, to listen, to live deliberately." He turned his gaze back to John and continued, "Most people sleepwalk through existence. They move through their days without truly seeing, without truly feeling, without truly living. My teaching is simply the practice of waking up." John felt something shift inside him, though he couldn't quite name it. Still, he asked, "But Master, if every person already contains wisdom within them, then what is the purpose of learning? Why do we need teachers at all?" Li Shen smiled again, this time with deep warmth. "A teacher does not give wisdom, my son. A true teacher only helps you remove the dust that hides it. You already hold everything you seek. But noise, fear, and desire cover your inner knowing like clouds hide the sun. My task is to help you remember what you have always known." June lowered his eyes, feeling both awe and disappointment. "That seems too simple," he said quietly. "Yes," said the master. "That is why most people never learn it. They search for complexity when simplicity is the answer. They seek great secrets when truth whispers in silence. They travel far and wide, when the path is always within. A gentle breeze rustled the branches above them. The old man leaned back, breathing deeply, as if the mountain itself was exhaling through him. Life, he continued, is the greatest teacher. Every moment is a lesson. Every mistake, every joy, every heartbreak, all of it points you toward yourself. When you pay attention, even the sound of rain becomes wisdom. When you live deliberately, every breath becomes a prayer. Tears filled June's eyes. Master, he whispered, how will I continue without you? Li Shen smiled softly, placing a trembling hand on June's shoulder. You won't be without me, he said, because the true master is not in front of you. The true master is the awakened awareness within you. When you see with attention, when you live with intention, you are already home. The young man bowed, tears falling onto the earth. The master closed his eyes, resting peacefully beneath the plum tree. The wind carried the scent of blossoms through the air, and in that moment, John felt something he had never felt before: stillness, clarity, and a quiet joy that words could not describe. Days later, when the old master passed away, June sat beneath the same tree, remembering every word. For the first time, he did not seek answers. He simply sat in silence, watching the sunlight dance across the leaves. And in that stillness, he finally understood. My friends, from this story, we learned something truly profound: that the greatest wisdom in life doesn't come from any teacher or book. It comes from living with awareness. We often search for answers outside ourselves, but the real teacher has always been within. All we need to do is pause, to look, to listen, and to live deliberately. Because that's the true meaning of life: to wake up and truly experience every moment. If this story touched your heart or made you think a little deeper about life, then don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder today, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that awaken the soul. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and keep growing from within.